Good night. Good night, people of God. It is it's early for me. It's 11 o'clock. I thought it was later than that because I just not too long ago woke up, baby. Today was hot. It was hot. You hear me? Up to 93 degrees. And when it's hot like that and I'm out working, I just be trying to get what I got to do, get done quick so I can get out all that heat. I worked smart today, not hard, smart. I got my gym workout in. Then I head over to Publix, got me some fruit, some nice cold chilled cherries and peaches and stuff. But came home, took a shower, did paperwork, hit the bed. So I was thinking it was the next day, and I go, I'm waking up at 11 o'clock. But what I wanna add to the video that I did earlier. God is a healer. So I guess I say this is part 2. God is still a healer. I want to say this. Sometimes, some of you may mean well, but sometimes you need to hold your mule. You need to hold your comment, because for one, some people need to hear certain things, and what the testimony that I have and that came to my spirit, you know, I don't need anyone trying to cloud my judgment of what God has placed in my spirit to share, because the testimony is for the people of God, and it strengthens other people. And not only that, God can, help other people through the testimony of others. So whether you disagree or not, the truth is the truth. The fact is a fact. So things like that, when there's divided comments, those are seeds of discord. And so if you feel like you have something to share for the people and God is speaking to you, then I believe that he would probably want you on the platform so that the people can see you and hear you. And then maybe I can learn something from you, because you'll be on your own platform doing your own thing. But I want to also add to that, God is still a healer. Like I said, there's a lot of folk, sometimes they're set in their ways. A lot of religious leaders, they'll come and say, oh, we can eat anything we want and all of this. That's true. I never said anything about condemning anybody for anything you eat. I even shared what Paul said. And what I'll go on to share is what Jesus said. Jesus said it's not what goes in a man's mouth that makes him unclean, it's what comes out. So what does that tell you? You're not condemned for what you put in your mouth. And that's not what I said. That's not what the video was about. It was basically just sharing, asking folk to take a second look at the book of Leviticus, baby, the clean and the unclean foods. Okay. And then you have some folks say, oh, well, that's the Old Testament. Okay. Well, the totality of the Bible is what applies to the people of God. And I want you to know that the DNA of the human body never changed from the Old Testament. It's only those folk who get offended because they hear the truth and they know it's the truth, but they don't want to change because I guess they love eating what they want to eat, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not looking down on you. I'm not beating you over your head. I shared my simple testimony and it was nothing but the truth. See, I'm the type of person where when I want healing, and I don't like being in pain. I'm a type of woman where I don't like pain, and I went through it for many years, like the woman with the issue of blood. And if any woman can tell you that has experienced the pain of endometriosis, baby, that's like you giving birth. You going through the pains, and you ain't getting no reward. You ain't got no child, and them some hard pains. Some very hard childbirthing pains. You know, I remember the nurse told me, she said, this is so unfortunate. You going through all the pains, and you ain't getting no baby. So the DNA of the human body never changed from the Old Testament. It is written there for those that want to go and search out and do their research on the clean and unclean foods like I did, and many of us have done. There are certain foods that are not meant for human consumption. However, with that being said, you can eat anything you want to eat. You can even eat poison if you want to. You can eat anything you want to eat. And what you eat is not going to send you to heaven or hell. So let no man or woman judge you by what you eat. However, there are a lot of folk who are experiencing illnesses and sicknesses in their bodies. And we do know that God is a healer, but we also have to do our diligent part and make sure that we are taking care of the temples that God gave us. And that was what the video was about, just taking care of the temple that God gave us. God is a healer. And understand that sometimes there are foods that we put in our bodies that make us ill. And some of the places that we go, some of our favorite places that we go for food, they put things, they put things in the food that cause us to feel ill. We going to eat at our favorite places, and all of a sudden we not feeling right in the body. We got to go to the doctor, getting on all kind of medication and all kind of stuff. If you take time to look at what you're eating, sometimes that will that eliminate going to have to go to the doctor getting medication for stuff, because really it's the food that's making us ill. I remember one place I didn't even know they was using MSG in their meat, and I noticed the last few times I had gone there, and I left, it's like I had a headache every time I left there. And when I found out what was being used in the food, I stopped going to cold turkey. I shared it in my community section. That was one of my favorite places to go and get a quick meal. It's supposed to be a Christian place, but I stopped cold turkey going there. I was like, wow, that makes sense now. Because I could not eat nothing pretty much all day. I pretty much, if I go pick up a meal, if I'm out, because I work 6 days a week, so it's sometimes I get a little exhausted. I don't get to doing the things that I um, uh, uh, that cooking like I want, or I don't have a lot of time sometimes, or my energy is just not there working 6 days a week to go and just cook the way I want and prepare things. So sometimes I have to stop and buy stuff. A lot of times I'll buy me a bag of fruit or stuff like that. But then there are times when I want a quick meal, and a lot of places I stop at, some places aren't as healthy, but there's one place I used to pick up a meal from, and sometimes that would be the only thing I would eat all day and out. And the last few times I paid attention, I got a headache when I bought food from there. And then when I found out what they were using in the meat and how much sodium was in one of their sandwiches, I was like, aha, that would explain why I was having a headache the last few times I ate from there, you know. And as we get older, as the temples age, you might, but dang, I wasn't getting a headache 10 years ago when I was eating, because as the temples age, your body starts to pick up on certain things, and so, but anyway, when we learn better, we do better. But going back to you know, God is still a healer, but we got to also obtain the knowledge that we need to obtain. But when it comes to certain clean and unclean foods, people of God, there are certain things that the people of God, there are certain type of foods that were not meant for consumption for God's people. That's only for God's people now. But then you will have some folk who are, like I said, set in their ways, and they will, try to combat that, even though folk have testimonies to prove, well, look, when I did start applying that, I got healed from this, and I got healed from this, was this and that was unexplainable. you know um the medical science couldn't explain what caused this in my body, nor could it heal it. They only wanted to medicate it. Now that would be kind of weird, ain't it? You can't tell me what caused it. You don't have a cure for it, but you want to say, here, take this right here gonna help it. Nah, nah. I wanted more. I wanted to know why I got this. I like, no, there's a reason. And thank God, Dr. Sebi, he made mention of it in a teaching that he was doing, that pork is definitely related to the cause of endometriosis. That and something else he mentioned, I can't remember. And that's one of the things that I used to eat a lot, along with all the other unclean foods that I told you in the first part of the video that I used to eat. And then I stopped eating, you know. And I stopped at cold turkey. You know, I wanted my healing. I was tired. When you reach the point where you tired and you sick and tired, see, some people ain't reach a point where they tired and they sick and tired. There's some folk know they need a deliverance from certain spirits. You know, we all know what we need a deliverance from. And some of us, you do self-deliverance. You know, you get tired of battling and fighting certain things. You overcome, then you ain't got them battles no more. But then there's some folk, they fight with them spirit, and they ain't ready for a deliverance. They don't want to hear nothing about it. They don't want to hear no word that make that spirit uncomfortable. They don't want to talk about the word. But baby, when they reach a point where they get sick and tired, when you get tired of being beat up, when you get tired of being sick, when you get tired of being afflicted in your body, trust me, you'll change. We can't push nothing on nobody, but when you get tired, some people ain't tired enough yet, you know. But anyway, it is what it is. Let nobody condemn you. Ain't nobody saying folk going to hell or folk going to heaven. Ain't nobody saying you're on the wrong side of God or you're on the right side of God because of what you eat. No, that's not what I'm saying. Simply saying there are some foods, no matter how much some folk don't like it or not, no matter how much they disagree, it is written. There are some foods that are clean and there are some foods that are unclean. There are some unclean foods that are not meant for the human consumption by God's people. Simple as that. The DNA of the human body never changed from the Old Testament to the New Testament. Now, if you eat the unclean foods, so be it. It ain't mean that you're sinning. You ain't sinning because you eat unclean food. You ain't going to hell because you eat unclean food. Just know that there are some unclean foods that can cause, that have the ability, the effect, you know, the probability of you getting an illness in your body is higher when you're eating unclean foods, such as pork, shrimp, lobster, crabs, you know, all kind of stuff. Go and study it and then take your time and research the unclean foods. That's all. That's all I'm saying. No pressure. No pressure, no condemnation, you know. So anyway, I thank God for my healing. Medical science said there was no cure, baby. I'm cured, healed, signed, sealed, delivered. Even other things, sinus congestion, all that's gone. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm cured. I got mine. So I ain't arguing with nobody. I ain't condemning nobody. I ain't looking down on nobody for what you eat. If you come around me, we go out to eat together. We go sit down and have a meal. Baby, you ain't got to stop eating nothing because don't eat what you want. I'm strong and once I get my mindset on something, I'm strong. You can sit in front of me and have a whole slab of ribs and it won't turn my stomach on or off. And I won't look down on you neither. That's on you. The bed we made for ourselves, that the bed we got to lay in, right? That's on you. I won't look down on you. I won't make you feel bad about what you want to eat. It is what it is. I'm not that type of person, you know. But I will tell you the truth. If I know the truth, I'm going to say the truth. And my testimony is I did not receive my healing until I applied those health laws to my life and I stopped all that unclean food. And that was what healed me from when a doctor said there was no cure for endometriosis. I am healed. Still got everything in my body that God put in my body. Right? So anyway, have a blessed night. I love you. I done woke up now, so I'm up. I'm up. I'm going to be up reading. I had me a wonderful day today. By the grace of God, it was very, very hot. You know, I got a lot of sweat in there, baby. Let me tell you, when that heat be so hot out there, make you don't want to eat nothing heavy make you don't want to eat nothing heavy to slow you down. I was glad to eat them cherries and, you know, fruits and stuff. It's so hot. And during the summertime, I lose weight effortlessly during the summertime. I do. This has been for years. During the summer, I drop weight. During the winter, I pick back up weight. But the way this heat feel, it make me want to, when the winter time come, it make me feel like I don't want to pick back up no weight. The thinner I am, I feel like the cooler I can be. Anyway, y'all have a blessed night. God bless you. I love you. God is still a healer, baby. God is still a healer. He can heal us from anything. We are the light of the world. Let's not ever let our lights grow dark. We got to keep shining bright. And we know that the blood of Jesus Yeshua, our friend, our brother, our Savior, his blood is the only blood that has power. I hope you had a good day today and rest well. When you lay down, your sleep shall be sweet. And if nobody told you that they loved you, I'm telling you, your little country bumpkin sister loves you. Is only one of you in this whole world. Give yourself a big hug. Love yourself enough to take care of the temple that God gave you. Have a blessed night.